last year we had an issue where students spent a lot of time on doing animals or creatures and then spent almost zero time illustrating the eyes. So we had a whole assignment last year on doing just eyeballs. And there are lots of good tutorials on how to color paint digitally eyeballs. Here's one from Anastasia Berry on deviantart.com. These are all over on Pinterest. Here's another one on Pinterest, v3rc4.deviantart.com. Here's another one, Anastasia Berry again. So I was essentially like, okay, I'm sick of seeing bad eyeballs. I want to see good eyeballs. And I wanted to make kind of like a poster like this with like all the different eyeballs that you find in organisms. So the assignment was to do an eyeball. But I'm also a big fan of like cabinets of curiosity, where you have creatures and things in tubs or in glass containers or in jars. Like, I just love seeing creatures in jars. I think they're awesome. So the final challenge that I decided on was illustrating an eyeball in a jar. Okay, and the catch was you have to be able to take the eyeball out of the jar. So you should be able to take the eyeball out of the jar. You should be able to show the empty jar. And then you should be able to show the specimen in the jar. Okay? Here's Gwendolyn's eyeball in a jar. Empty jar. Eyeball out of the jar. And all together. So this was the poster of all the students that I tried to make assemble from these eyeballs. And I have to admit, I was not as satisfied as I wanted to be with the student productivity on this project. I was not satisfied with, I wanted to get a poster like this, and I felt like the quality of the eyeballs was some of them were real good, but the quality was not real consistent. Here was the eyeballs in the jars. Again, some of these are really good, but the quality was not completely consistent. Some of these are really awkward. So I was left unsatisfied, still needing more eyeballs in jars. So this year I'm going to expand the options here. I'm going to expand your options. You don't have to do an eyeball. But if you feel like you've been challenged by eyeballs, or if you feel like you don't know how to properly illustrate an eyeball, then I would encourage you to do an eyeball. But if you feel like you're beyond the eyeball is too easy for you, I want to expand your options, and I want you to be able to do essentially whatever you want inside of a specimen jar. So think about if you were to have a specimen collection cabinet of curiosities in your own house, what's the jar that you would want? What's the creature that you would want in there? And I would encourage you to be creative on the jar, get a cool jar and get a cool specimen and do that, or either do that or an eyeball in a jar. So good luck.